How's it going, everybody? Well, you found me. I found you, you found me, we found each other. Welcome to MVP Card Co. We'll go ahead and clap it up. Finally here. There's been some time in the making, but we're finally here and established in 2026. And guess what? Numero uno. This is the very first video that we're putting out. So first and foremost, to introduce myself, my name is Shad. I've been in the Navy for 13 years, so I am a veteran. And of course, being a fan of sports, collecting cards is a part of the hobby. And here in the last few months, I decided to go ahead and dive in and jump into actually starting an actual card trading, selling, buying business. I love sports. It's not going to be something that I'm ever going to give up on. You can clearly see who I love when it comes to NFL. We'll talk about baseball at another time as far as who I like. But welcome. So what we're going to do for the very first video is we're going to go ahead and open up some boxes of some stuff that I ordered online off eBay. And then also, when I was just kind of cruising around and, we're waiting for a couple of new products to hit, there's a few products that I saw at Dollar General, Family Dollar. And I'm like, there might be some hidden jewels in there, some dimes, some jewels. So we'll go ahead and show that right now. So we got a 2023 Top Set Series 2. All right. We got a 2023 Top Set over here as well. And then I found these Donruss Paninis, the 2024 NFL sets. So we're going to crack those first. You never know. I mean, what if we hit like a dime, a dozen jewel in there? You never know. I think these are like $2 or $3 a piece. So it's kind of like, why not? And then, of course, the urban legend, if you see the last one on the shelf, you're supposed to get it. What was the last few? So I was just like, why not? You never know. Could hit crazy, hit big. That'd be nice to do it on my very first video. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get it going. And then what I'll do is, as we're getting, I'll have to probably blur that out, have my address, but as we are getting some things open, I'll just tell you guys a little bit about myself. We'll just kind of talk some things out. You'll know a little bit about me. All right, cool. So this one is from the app Triumph, I guess it is. A few cards that when you're going to the application, and what I'll do is somewhere on the video, I'll put the application logo so you can download it for your phone. It's kind of cool. What you basically do is you pay, money in order to put it onto your account, and then you rip pretty much random box sets. They do Pokemon on there, they do basketball on there, and then they do One Piece. When I was much younger, I was into Pokemon. Not really my thing now at all, but if I'm being honest, that's really the first trading card game that I was into. I was kind of like a nerd growing up. So Pokemon was definitely the first thing that I got into that made me really get into the habit of collecting cards and, trading card games or whatever you may have you. So did Pokemon, and then it's got a little bit older. That jumped into Yu-Gi-Oh! For all my nerds out there. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was really that jazz. So got into the Yu-Gi-Oh! And, years get on top of you and you start just doing life and doing things. And I kind of got away from the hobby of collecting cards in general. However, I always was a lover of, sports, obviously, right? So love sports. So that never left me. Always love sports. Never would not love sports. But, just wanted to jump into this. So let's see what we got from Triumph. So I got 4 slabs from Triumph. Of course, I already know what they are because I pulled them, but it'd be a treat for you all to see what it was I pulled. All of these were from the $25 spin. So what it basically does is, you pay, there's 3 or 4 different sets that you can do. So you can do the $25 pack, the $50 pack. I think it's $100 pack. And then it goes up to $250 and maybe a $500. It's a little rich for my taste. So I stayed at the 25, which is in my pay grade, as we say. And I got some pretty good hits for $25. All right. So let's go ahead, and 2 is my favorite number. So let's start with the 2. 2. Let's start with 2 so you guys can see what it is. All right, boom. So what we got? We got a Shaquille O'Neal 1992 Skybox at a PSA 8. That's a good looking card right there. Man, I love that. I love that a lot. Yeah, I like that it comes in the plastic even though it's slabbed up. This gives it that extra level of protection as it's going through. But man, look how good that looks, guys. In the Orlando Magic uniform too. Of course, where he started off his career. Wow. That's going to stay in my personal collection. So like stuff like that, I'm not looking to sell it. That's going to stay in the personal collection. All right. Right here, we got the 2019 Hoops Premium Stock of Zion Williamson at a PSA 10. So that was a very, very nice hit. I still haven't made up my mind if I want to get rid of this or not. If I want to keep it. It's a rookie card. So, of course, it'll do well in the aftermarket. It might be one of those things that I keep, though. It just depends on how Zion does this year. He's been battling injuries and everything over his career. So, we'll see. And then he hasn't necessarily stayed out of the limelight of being in trouble. So hopefully he can stay out of trouble. And here we go right here. This isn't going anywhere. This is staying right here. A 1995 metal, that shimmery, shiny Michael Jordan at PSA 8. Look at that. Lord. Man. See, I'm old enough to where I actually saw Jordan play. So I understand it. I get the folklore under who he was. That looks great. Look at that. So we're going to keep that for sure. That's staying in the collection. And we got one more for Triumph. All right. And this one was a 2019 Panini Prism of Darius Garland. It's a PSA 10. So, even though I'm from Columbus, Ohio, I'm not a Cleveland Cavs fan. I really don't have a basketball team in the NBA that I really follow and I like necessarily to be a fan of, if that makes sense. I'm a fan of players. There's players that I like in the NBA. I'm a NFL with the Philadelphia Eagles. Quick story behind that is when I was, younger, and really understanding and getting into sports, the only NFL quarterback that I remember being active was Donovan McNabb that was black, right? So obviously me being black, African American or whatever, you want to, emulate who those you see, when it comes to like sports and stuff like that, the ones you want to be like. So Donovan McNabb was the only one that, at the time was a quarterback when it was on TV. So that's what I'm seeing. So I gravitated that young to the Eagles, and I've just been Philly ever since. And that's just what it is. So those are our slabs that we got from Triumph. Again, we got the Garland, our Jordan, our Williamson, and then Shaq. Those are going to stay. Now we'll go ahead and keep these up here for the remainder of the video. And let's start ripping these packs. All right, so we got our Paninis. We got our tops, all right? Like I told y'all, my favorite number is 2. I see 2 tops, so we're going to do those first. So let's go ahead and get the Paninis over here, and let's get these going. I'm pretty excited about this. You never know. It says that, let's see. Well, it doesn't really say which you could hit, but let's go ahead and get this going. Get these out the way. All right, so it comes in the factory sealed packs, 1, 2, 3 with 5 each. And it actually, it's crazy. It has the cards right here outside already. So it's crazy that I'm seeing this. I guess this is like perfect God's timing. So I'm actually a Baltimore Orioles fan. Don't ask me how. I don't know why. But when I was much younger, that was the very first baseball game that I went to. I went to go see the Orioles, and I've been a fan ever since. All right, so let's see. We got Aaron Cavell from the Tampa Bay Rays. All right, we got a Manny Machado on the San Diego Padres, and then Austin Hayes on the Orioles. That looks great. I'm going to put that in my personal collection right there. All right, and now we have our packs. This is the part that's fun because we never know what's in these, man. It could be literally anything. Imagine that, these are just sitting in Dollar General and Family Dollar for like $3 and $4, and there's like a freaking auto in here. Like, you just never know. Let's see though. All right, let's see. Okay, nothing too crazy exclusive looks like. We got a Bregman from the Houston Astros. I said Rockets. I'm thinking basketball. All right, we got Manoah over there from the Blue Jays. Let's see. Hunter Dozier over from Kansas City. We got a Dylan Carlson from St. Louis. And then a Garcia from the White Sox. All right. Pretty cool. Let's get our next pack going. Imagine. Yeah, I'm from Columbus, Ohio originally. I went to the Navy in 2013. I've been in ever since, and I've lived a little bit of everywhere. Started off in San Diego, California. Jumped over to Oceanside, California, which is San Diego adjacent. And went over to Okinawa, Japan for 4 years. Jumped over to Norfolk, Virginia for 2, and now I'm where I am in Mississippi. All right, let's take a look. So we got Corbin from the Nationals. Let's see. All right, we got a Mets player, Gallimore. Irvin from the Nationals. Bledday from the Athletics, and then Langeliers from the Athletics. All right, nothing too out of the ordinary there, but for $3 and $4, what can you say? You know, we're just hoping on a prayer. All right, doesn't look like anything cool going to be here. Walker with the Giants, Arez with the Marlins, Martinez with the Padres, Miller with the Dodgers, and Stram with the Phillies. Cool. But yeah, good old Columbus, Ohio Buckeye. That's my collegiate team. All sports when it comes to colleges, the Buckeyes. I bleed scarlet and gray. It ain't never going to change no matter where I live. No matter where the military takes me or when I finally hang up these boots, I'll always be a Buckeye. All right. These are kind of hard to open. All right, cool. So we got our 3 sealed packs. Look like somebody from the... All right, let's see. So Schmidt from the Yankees. That's a good-looking card right there. Mentor from the Braves. And then Jeffers from the Twins. These are good-looking cards. I like the way that they, you know, with Topps, when they did these cards, I like the little, like, the red kind of neon light type of, like, written script that they got there. And then it's surrounding the actual logo of the team. And then it shows their position, like, kind of lit up right there. Like, that's pretty cool. That's a good-looking card. Even though it's, like, you know, just a normal base card, it just looks good aesthetically, in my opinion. All right, let's see what we got. Anything cool? All right, nothing. Again, not really expecting to, but would have been cool. Schwaber from Phillies. Liberto from the Padres. If I'm butchering these names, guys, don't kill me in the comments. Tellez from the Brewers. Let's see, we got a Padres actual team card. That looks pretty cool for Padres fans out there. And then Sale from the Red Sox. Boston in the house. Because ripping packs, man, is just like therapeutic and cool. You never know what you're going to hit. Let's see. All right, nothing looking like it's going to be there. All right, so BB from the Cleveland Guardians. Who is this? Miller from the Dodgers. Gallimore again from the Mets. Padres got Wacha. That's a pretty cool uniform. When I lived in San Diego, see, San Diego is one of those military cities where they take care of, like, you know, the military community. And they gave out free tickets to the military all the time. And they had these uniforms one time. And I'm like, man, if I wasn't the fan of Baltimore, I would definitely like to have one of those jerseys. But I wouldn't be caught wearing another team's jersey. All right, and then there's a double team here where we got Miami and Minnesota Superstars. So Marlins as well as the Twins over here. All right, cool. But yeah. San Diego definitely is one of those places. It's pretty cool. All right, let's see. It's the last one. It'd be cool to get like an Ohtani base card or like, you know, try to get like some type of like, you know, Aaron Judge or, you know, Mookie Betts, Freeman, like one of the high players. All right, let's see. Doesn't look like anything here. All right, so we got, Syndergaard from the Dodgers, Fortes from Marlins. Jensen is from the Red Sox, Martinez from the Padres, and then we got a double card for the Athletics. Looks like it's going to be Harris and Smith. That's pretty cool. So for the Athletic fans, hey, that'll be posted on my eBay, or maybe I'll raffle it off on eBay or TikTok or something like that. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and go into our Donruss. So what we're gonna do to kind of speed this up, I'm gonna open up all these just to kind of get the packaging out the way. The packaging is kind of annoying opening from these Family Dollar General hanger packs. All right, so again, looks like we got this. That kind of spoils it, but it looks like we got some cards already out. I'll kind of flip it over here so we don't see them just yet. All right. So this Panini Donruss set, they came with the score a treat, like kind of like, you know, NFL like specialty cards. So we'll go through those here in a second. That spoiled it. Sorry, guys. All right. We'll just kind of go through the cards that we have here already that are actually out. All right, cool. All right, so I've been seeing a lot of these in this specific product. So you got the Jalen Waddle in his college uniform in the matte. You got the Zach Wilson in the matte. All right, so that's a pretty good looking card. Zach Wilson. It's old, it's old. So you know, at the time these were rookies, but you know, Jalen Waddle, obviously he panned out pretty good. Zach Wilson, he had a little stint over there in the Jets. I'm not sure what he's doing, you know, anymore, but you know, pretty cool looking card. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. So we got Bobby Wagner here in Seattle. Kirk Cousins when he was with the Vikings. That looks pretty good. Levante David. Another Jalen Waddle. Another Zach Wilson. All right, let's see. Flipping these around. Julian Edelman. Okay, even though it's a base card, like Julian Edelman was a freaking dog for the Patriots, man. I remember when we actually beat the Patriots that year. Like, dude was like going crazy in that game for the Super Bowl for Philly. Emmanuel Sanders over there with the Bills. Danny Dimes. Daniel Jones when he was with the Giants. I mean, I hated him because he was in our conference being in the NFC East. But Daniel Jones, like, really resurged when he got over there to Indiana last year. Like, I'm actually looking forward to see, like, coming off of his injury, if he's going to, like, you know, bring it back and get it going again. Another Jalen Waddle, another Zach Wilson, David Montgomery. He's moving around. So he was with Detroit. I can't remember. He just left. I know he just left because now it's just Jahmyr Gibbs. But this is him in his Bears uniform. You got Nick Bosa, a dog, Ohio State right there. Nick Bosa in his 49ers. And then Bradley Chubb, the Broncos. All right. Now let's get into the scary spook packs first. So who knows what we'll hit in these? You never know. Maybe it'll be something cool. Maybe not. Oh, man. This is a terror, no pun intended, to open. All right. So we got Montez Sweat on the orange, kind of like Halloween type of thing. Rising stars at the time, Roman Wilson, wide receiver. Devon Achane. Yeah, he's a dog. He's been doing this thing down there in Miami. So he's pretty nice. All right. Oh, there it is. Not the easiest packs to open. All right, let's see. All right, Fairbairn with the Texans. Let's see. All right, Estime with the Broncos. And then Tyler Algier with the Falcons. I need an Eagle. I don't know what's going on, but give me some Philly. Give me some Philly. Dude, these packs are so hard to open. Jeez, I'm trying to be careful and not like bend the cards that are in here, but it's like impossible to open this pack. Man, I'm struggling. We might go on a commercial break. 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm back. I don't know why that was so hard to open, but got it figured out. Cards falling out. All right. Peyton Manning. Ooh, that's not bad. I mean, it's a base card of this, like, you know, little Halloween set. That's pretty cool. Peyton Manning was a dog. Hines Ward, another dog. Like, with some of these, like, you know, vets that are, like, no longer in the league, like, you got to respect it, whether they're on your team or not. And then, at the time, he was a rookie. Brian Thomas, he is really panning out, especially because, man, Trevor Lawrence turned up last year. I don't know what happened, but dude had a resurgence when they got Travis Hunter. He had a year last year. I ain't gonna lie. I was looking at the games like, damn. All right. Bleep that last part. All right, so let's see. All right, we got something yellow here. So some type of like yellow variation on the Donruss. All right, so we got Jake Ferguson with the Cowboys. I don't like the Cowboys, but whatever. Jamal Lewis, Baltimore. Jamal Williams. Okay. With the Saints. That's a good looking card. All right, Jared Wiley. It was a rookie. Who's that with? Kansas City. And then Mike Rozier. All right. So that's what the Oilers, which, fun fact, they're now the Titans. So the Houston Oilers are now the Tennessee Titans. So that's pretty cool. And if I'm wrong on that, I'll go in and I'll correct it on the screen, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. All right, let's see. All right, got another yellow variation of something. All right, cool. DeAndre Swift, he turned up last year. Man, he was doing so good. Bijan, okay. Bijan, all right, liking that one. Plexico Burris, okay. Old school. Plexico Burris with, the Steelers, the other team in Pennsylvania. Jalen Wright over there with Miami, and then Will Levis. Will Levis, man. I don't know. I had hopes for him, but now that they got Cam Ward, I think those hopes are done. All right, guys, this is our last pack. Again, before we open this, no expectations whatsoever. It was $3 and $4 for the packs, but it would have been kind of cool to just hit some type of like random like hit of something. But if not, hey, it was cool ripping my first packs with y'all on the YouTube and on the video. All right, so let's see. Got another yellow one. Cool. All right, we got a Kendrick Bourne, Simeon Rice with the Cardinals. All right, Ainias Smith. Let's go. So that's yellow. That's Philly, baby. I'll take it. All right. McMillan, this is rookie card for the Falcons, and then Rashad White to finish it off for the Buccaneers. And that does it, folks. So thank you for being here with me for my very first video. There's going to be more content coming. I'm going to be doing more rips. I just ordered some more some boxes. I ordered 2 mega boxes from Topps for the MLB 2026 season that just got released a couple of days ago, so those will be coming here. And I ordered another 2025-2026 NBA hoops. I think it was the just a couple of hanger boxes. I can't remember if it was that or the mega box. I don't remember which product I got, but those are going to be coming. I'm going to rip those. Also, what I'm going to do is right down here, or maybe right up here, or maybe right over here, or maybe right over here. I haven't really quite decided how I'm going to set this up on the videos, but one of these things is going to show where you can come to my store on eBay, purchase my cards. I'm also going to have all of my social medias associated with MVP Card Co. that you can follow. Click, like, share, subscribe. Please come in. We're building up this community, especially for my veterans. Yo, for all of my veterans out there that love sports and the military makes us move around, let's band together as a community and make this thing happen. We need to get into this hobby. We can travel with all of our cars. We can continue to just do this. It's something that we can do to build camaraderie whenever we're moving around. Like, I'm looking at like when we moved to the States, now we're actually going to car shows, like me, my daughter, my wife. And it's kind of cool. And I think about the fact that like, dang, that would have been so nice to do that when I was in Japan. Like we do Comic-Con, we do all these different things on base, but like, I don't recall the whole 4.5 years I was there ever doing like a card show. Let's do this. But with all that being said, like, subscribe, comment, let me know what y'all thought about my first video. Let me know what you guys would like to see, and we'll see you on the next episode. Until then, peace.